On this Tuesday night, terror on a First Nation in Saskatchewan. A fatal shooting on the Big Island Lake Cree Nation near the Alberta border. And the hunt for the gunman. Toronto sees a massive spike in toxic drug call-outs.
We are finding a drug called medetomidine in over 80% of the fentanyl samples.
Why some are blaming the closure of the city's safe consumption sites. Also, Canada warns of a deepening humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
This would effectively block MSF from operating in Gaza.
As Israel plans to ban dozens of aid organizations. And saying goodbye to those who left us in 2025.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Colleen Christie.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Toronto Public Health is warning of a sharp increase in opioid overdoses over the holidays, a spike that's raising concerns about the city's toxic drug supply. Despite fewer deaths this year, officials say the number of emergency calls has climbed significantly. Now, Public Health is urging people to take extra precautions with fewer public health services available to help prevent such deaths. Megan King reports.
Toronto paramedics are reporting an increase in calls to suspected opioid overdoses this holiday season.
The amount of fentanyl that we were finding in the fentanyl samples that we check was much higher than usual. So what we can assume from that is that, stronger fentanyl is circulating. And of course, if you're using more of a very strong opioid, your risk of overdose will be increased.
Toronto's drug checking service is seeing fentanyl samples contaminated with other drugs that people don't expect, which comes with significant risks.
Currently, we are finding a drug called medetomidine in over 80% of the fentanyl samples that we check. So medetomidine is, a very strong veterinary tranquilizer that is not approved for human use.
The city is feeling the impact of the dangerous drug supply, paired with fewer available support services over the holidays. Between December 20th and 28th, Toronto paramedic services responded to 122 calls for suspected overdoses. That's 35% higher than the average number in the previous 2 years. Overall, December's daily average for overdose calls was 11 per day, exceeding the average of 8 daily calls over the previous 11 months. As a result, Toronto Public Health issued a warning to the community.
When there was talk about closing supervised consumption services, this is something that the community was kind of warning the government about. Like, people are still using drugs, but so if these sites don't exist, like, another piece of the health or social system is going to have to pick up that slack.
Megan King, Global News, Toronto.
A Quebec couple has been found dead in the Dominican Republic, and their family says they're desperately searching for answers. The family of 55-year-old Christine Sauvé and 56-year-old Alain Noel say the couple was found by their son in the bedroom of their vacation home on Boxing Day. Relatives say Sauvé had felt dizzy and fainted days earlier. The couple from Gatineau, Quebec, had FaceTimed family on Christmas Day and appeared healthy and in good spirits. Authorities say they don't suspect foul play or suicide. A Toronto woman has died following a tragic incident at an Alberta ski resort. The 47-year-old was on a beginner run at Sunshine Village in Banff on Saturday when she fell into a pocket of deep snow just off the side of the run. Resort officials say ski patrol arrived within minutes and spent hours trying to revive her, but was unsuccessful. Her cause of death is being investigated. A major police search is underway in western Saskatchewan after a deadly shooting on a First Nation. RCMP say one person was killed and at least 3 others wounded on Big Island Lake Cree Nation, about 400 kilometers northwest of Saskatoon. Police say they no longer believe there's an imminent risk to the public, but they're still looking for 2 suspects they earlier described as armed and dangerous. Grace Miller is following the latest developments in Saskatchewan. Grace.
Colleen, on the Big Island Lake Cree Nation, a dangerous person alert has just been lifted, and the nation is no longer on lockdown. This following a shooting spree early Tuesday morning. 3 gunshot victims are now stable in hospital. Larry Wadapustikwan identified the deceased as his son, Neil, and one of the gunshot victims as his cousin. He learned of the shooting after getting a call from his brother.
And told me, come over here, and I think your son got shot. I just got up and got ready and took off to over there where he's laying.
He says they were together at the time of the incident, but RCMP cannot confirm information part of the investigation yet. The shooters have been identified as two people, armed and last seen on an ATV.
All day, Saskatchewan RCMP police officers have been actively searching for the two suspects. Officers are, as well, investigating the scene and interviewing witnesses to determine whether the shooting is random or targeted.
As the community begins to return to normal, no arrests have been made yet, and the RCMP are asking the public for information to help their investigation. Colleen?
Grace Miller in Saskatoon. Thanks, Grace. Some residents in northern BC are stranded after torrential rain damaged major roads. The archipelago of Haida received almost 150 millimeters of rain on Monday, washing away parts of a major highway. And that wasn't even the hardest hit region. Prince Rupert, about 750 kilometers northwest of Vancouver, was drenched with 200 millimeters of rain, shutting down roads there as well. Global News has learned one of the men accused in a Toronto kidnapping and terrorism case was denied refugee status in 2018. 19-year-old Osman Azizov is one of three men charged with kidnapping, hostage-taking, and conspiracy to commit sexual assault targeting women and Jewish people. Documents obtained by Global News show he crossed into Canada along with his parents in 2017. Coming up, fears the situation in Gaza is about to get even worse as Israel plans to halt aid from major humanitarian organizations in the new year. Canada is joining several allies, warning that the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is once again worsening, calling on Israel to take urgent action. It comes as Israel says it will halt the operations of more than 24 aid organizations starting in the new year, including major international groups. Mike Armstrong reports.
They are some of the world's best-known aid organizations, and at a time when their help is needed in Gaza, it may be cut off. Israel is set to revoke the licenses of more than 24 humanitarian groups. NGOs like Oxfam and Doctors Without Borders would no longer be allowed to operate in the territory. They have until January 1st to conform to a new registration process, or by March 1st, they have to leave Israel.
We have explained to the Israeli authorities and to, the international community that we are unable to comply.
Now, the new registration requires groups to share a list of their staff, including Palestinians in Gaza. Israel says it wants to know who's on the ground to prevent aid from being exploited by Hamas. In a statement posted Tuesday, the Israeli group that oversees aid claims Hamas has operated under the cover of NGOs, whether those organizations know it or not.
Publicly making such claims without substantiated evidence puts humanitarian staff at risk and undermines life-saving medical work.
Doctors Without Borders says if it did employ staff involved in military activity, that would put other employees and patients in danger. But it won't submit a staff list for fear people could be targeted. Pulling its permit, the group says, would cost lives.
This would effectively block MSF from operating in Gaza, where we support 1 in 5 hospital beds and 1 in 3 births.
Foreign ministers from 10 countries, including Canada, issued a joint statement Tuesday. In it, they criticize Israel for, quote, persistent impediments on humanitarian access. Deregistering aid organizations, they say, would have a severe impact on access to essential services, including healthcare. Any attempt to stem their ability to operate is unacceptable. Well, Israel says the new rules won't impact aid moved into Gaza. It says more than 20 organizations will continue to operate, organizations that conform to its rules. Mike Armstrong, Global News, Montreal.
Still ahead, the images and other evidence that may indicate mass killings in Sudan. There are growing concerns about what happened in the Sudanese city of El Fasher when it was captured by a paramilitary group in October. About 100,000 people fled the city after the takeover, but most of the population was thought to have stayed behind. Now, a team of international aid workers who visited the city last week found it to be mostly deserted and are calling it a crime scene. Redmond Shannon has more.
An estimated 150,000 people remained inside the Sudanese city of El Fasher after it was captured in late October. Last Friday, a team of international aid workers was briefly allowed in for the first time since the paramilitary RSF took over. The United Nations resident and humanitarian coordinator in Sudan, Canadian Denise Brown, told Reuters news agency the town was not teeming with people. There were very few people that they were able to see. Brown said it was impossible to estimate how many people are still alive. Earlier this month, a Yale University analysis of satellite images of El Fasher found that what appeared to be multiple piles of bodies were removed or burned. It concluded that it was likely the RSF engaged in widespread and systematic mass killing, followed by a multi-week campaign to destroy evidence.
Where are these people gone? Have they been buried mass graves? We need to know, because people need to be held to account.
Abdullahi Halake visited refugee camps in neighbouring Chad, where people who fled El Fasher spoke of killings and sexual violence. He says the 13 million displaced Sudanese desperately need more aid, and those threatened by violence need diplomatic pressure on countries like the United Arab Emirates to stop their alleged funding of the war.
And I think it is unconscionable in 2025. We are saying to people who are facing famine, to people who are facing genocide, that too bad, we can't help you.
In November, the Canadian government issued a statement of concern about El Fasher. 11 days later, the UAE announced a $70 billion investment into Canada. Redmond Shannon, Global News, London.
Gone, but not forgotten. Remembering those we lost in 2025. Next. As the end of 2025 approaches, we're remembering some of the notable people we've lost this year. From Frank Gehry and Rob Reiner to Jimmy Cliff and so many others. With help from Eric Sorensen and photojournalist Nick Vyfschaft, we leave you tonight with a special tribute to those who've left a lasting impression. Good night.
The people of this continent are not fearful of foreigners, because most of us were once foreigners.
Mark, good luck. Thank you.
It was incredible. When you looked up at the moon, you said, a human being is actually setting foot on the moon.
I learned by being out in nature, so you can learn to understand who animals are, not just about them.
It's always a privilege to celebrate the work of Canada's finest writers of real stories through this prize.
One way we get more women into politics is by having more women in politics. More women, I think, have to see political life as an option.
These first pictures of the Dion quintuplets celebrating their second holiday season.
Houston, we've had a problem here. Can say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
I'll jump first. Nope.
Then you jump first.
No, I said.
What's the matter with you?
I can't swim!
I'm not that comfortable celebrating myself. I'm more interested in what the purpose is, which is showing the films.
Oh, God, Annie. Well, oh well. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-la.
Tiramisu.
What is tiramisu?
You'll find out.
I never know what's going to work, what's going to... I try to get something I like, and hopefully somebody else is going to like it.
Here, Tatanka. Buffalo.
I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game. In my book, we're going to be winners.
Are you all right, Theo?
Oh, yeah, sure, yes.
What's your problem, Kazansky? You're everyone's problem.
People love the unknown. They love going into a new world, having a new experience. Film is a great way to have a new experience.
How you doing, Norm?
Cut the small talk and give me a beer.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Got to be Ken Dryden, who's been playing a magnificent net.
I never thought I was going to make the NHL. It just seemed an impossibility. The NHL was something that appeared on Saturday nights on television.
He jumped on it right away. She's very close. There's no indication. He's got him.
I'm not necessarily a violent man, it's just that fighting is my profession.
Trophy as the most valuable player in all of the Stanley Cup playoffs, then he was indeed great.
Look at this! He's found it! I
don't believe it! Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside.
sing it with us and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
They wanted to keep making the car songs and surf songs. I said, guys, we gotta grow.
God only knows what I'd be without. God only knows